Alright, so we're going to get to the breakdown of this video like people had asked for. I know I said that I would fight Case the whole tournament so you guys could see if it was viable at the high level, but he didn't really want me to fight Case, so I ended up just matching him with Rapier and Dagger. This was a really fun fight, so let's get into the breakdown. So first thing to note is he had really good measure control. Notice how almost every time that I step, he steps, keeping good distance between us that he wants. My goal was, I figured he wouldn't just come out to attack me, that he would wait for a parry and riposte to get me to close the range. So I was trying to bait him with some false attacks, but he was not falling for that. Here we got a little close to the edge, so they had us step back and restart. So what had happened here, we had a little conversation. He had asked what landed. I let him know that he got me. I had thought I'd got the disengage and the thrust to the inside, but he said he parried out. I got the hand. As you can see right here, he cuts the throat of my dagger beautifully, and I disengaged to the inside, but I did not get the kill. He did, so first pass went to him. As for what was going on here, I had thrown a thrust to the arm, and he was deciding whether or not it was good. He had decided it was good, and we continued. Now here, one of the big differences between SCA and HEMA is HEMA, when they're that close to the edge, you can get a ring out, but in the SCA you can't. It's a safety concern, so usually best to just reset, especially if you know they're going to retreat a good amount. That way you're focusing on good safety. This, of course, comes with good and bad. The bad being you don't get to focus on strategy and ring control as much, but the good being it tends to force fighters to focus on their sword work more. As for this exchange and the conversation that followed, we both thought we had gotten each other, but we had both scraped each other's sides. His sword was caught in my jacket, and mine was stuck on the side of his gambeson. He parried to the outside, came in with the thrust, missed it with the cross parry. I'd attacked his outside during his fletch. Since nothing was landed good or clean, we had both decided to just refight this one out. He asked what about his offhand that I had taken previously. I told him let's just restart it and retake the dagger. That way we can just keep it nice and clean. This is a good picture that was sent to me that you can see his sword stuck in the side crease of my jacket and my sword in the side of his gambeson. Something I know. On this exchange, what had happened was he had came forward. I started cutting his side, and he stabbed me in the neck with the dagger. Another double, sadly. After this, we had talked about that we're both fencing very messy and that we need to clean it up for the roses. All my other fights I had won very cleanly, but in this fight I just obviously was not covering the second line very well, which is something that I will strive to do better in the future for all of my fights.
Both ready. All right. Round.
Yep.
We'll stop on that one, brother. Sorry about that. Next fight.
With all our other passes being so messy, I decided to pull out some different tactics. I knew he was good with his range, so I decided to try and deceive him on the range, throwing the cut so that he will look at my hands and won't see my back foot pass to the back, switching to a half guard, and then throwing the shot to catch him off guard of the range.
Next fight. Next fight. Come on. Right now, 1-1. Point to Nova. In a minute. That was a little stout. I do apologize. It's okay. It happens. I know you have really good measure, so I try to go a little extra on that one.
So this guy had amazing range control, so I tried to throw the shot a little bit farther than what I was throwing before to make sure that I got a good clean blow, nothing that could be debated. It did come out a little bit harder than what I had meant to. I thought he was going to step back a little bit more. I did apologize. It is something that happens sometimes, but something we definitely try to keep at a minimum.
Are you ready? Huh? Yeah. Round.
Here he had rushed at me again, very fast and fun exchange. Luckily I had dodged everything this time. Threw a cut, guess it didn't land. No worries though, kept fighting. This was an overall great fight and very exciting.
I'm sweating.
Great fight, brother. Trying to make sure you're not in the sun.
Pretty simple right here. I was just trying to make sure that he wasn't in the sun. Wanted a good clean fight. A lot of times what I have to do with people that have really good measure or retreat a lot is try and pick them apart. The reason is a lot of times they'll get their body out of range, but their hands or their feet will stay in range. A lot of people will avoid one specific target out of range, but end up being replaced by another one.
Light. It was just a light thrust. I'm not satisfied with that.
So right here I had landed a light thrust to the body. He had asked if it had hit. I let him know yeah, but it was just too light at the end of my measure. And with the way the fight was going earlier, I definitely did not want to win on that note. I would rather make sure that it's a good martial thrust. Here, pretty simple on what happened. Switched to half sorting again, threw a thrust to the body, and finished out the match. Honestly, really enjoyed fighting and meeting this guy. Great guy. Had a really good time, had amazing measure, really good parries, great overall fight and experience. Really appreciate getting to fight with this guy.